What would you do if your partner asked to open your relationship, you reluctantly agreed, and then 6 months later discovered he'd only done it to pursue someone else, and that while he'd been failing miserably, you'd been thriving? My name is Elena. I'm 37 years old, and 6 days ago, my boyfriend of 3 years went through my phone without permission, saw my dating app notifications, and completely lost his mind. Not because I was cheating, not because I'd broken our agreement, but because the open relationship he'd begged me to try, the one he'd opened specifically to date a younger coworker, had backfired spectacularly. This is the story of how I went from skeptical and hesitant to confident and empowered, while he went from cocky and entitled to desperate and furious, and how one conversation in his kitchen changed everything. I met Daniel 3 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday party. I was 34, he was 34, and we were both at that age where dating felt exhausting, but staying single felt lonely. I'd been single for 8 years before meeting Daniel. 8 years of failed Tinder dates, awkward setups by well-meaning friends, and eventually just accepting that maybe I was better off alone. I had my career as a marketing director, my apartment, my routines. I was content, if not entirely happy. Daniel was charming, attentive. He worked in tech sales, made decent money, had his own place. He was the first person in years who actually felt like a potential partner rather than just another disappointing date. Our relationship developed naturally, no dramatic passion, but steady affection, comfortable. We'd see each other 2 or 3 times a week, occasional weekends away, holiday dinners with each other's families. It was nice. We maintained separate apartments. Both of us valued our independence after years of being single. We had separate friend groups, separate hobbies. He played basketball on Tuesdays, I had book club on Thursdays. We gave each other space while still building something together. For 3 years, it worked. Not perfect, but functional, healthy even. I loved him, not in that desperate, can't breathe without you way, but in a mature, this person makes my life better way. I thought he felt the same. I was wrong. 6 months ago, almost to the day, Daniel invited me over for dinner at his place. He'd cooked, which was unusual. He was normally a takeout guy. "This is nice," I said, sitting at his small dining table with a glass of wine. "What's the occasion?" He smiled, but it looked nervous. "I wanted to talk to you about something." My stomach dropped. That phrase, "I want to talk to you about something." It's never good news. "Okay," I said carefully. "Elena, I love you. I love what we have. These 3 years have been great. But, no but, I've been thinking about our relationship, about how we could make it even better." "How?" He took a breath. "What would you think about opening our relationship?" I blinked. Opening it? Like seeing other people? "Yeah, nothing serious. Just dating. Maybe sleeping with other people, exploring." "Why?" The question came out sharper than I intended. "Because we're in our late 30s. We've both been in long-term relationships before. We know what we want. And I think we're secure enough in what we have to expand our experiences without threatening what we've built." It sounded rehearsed, like he'd practiced this speech. "You want to sleep with other women," I said flatly. "And you could sleep with other men. It's equal, fair." "I don't want to sleep with other men, Daniel. I'm happy with you." "But aren't you curious? We've been together 3 years. Don't you ever wonder what else is out there?" Honestly, no. I'd spent 8 years seeing what else was out there before Daniel. I knew exactly what was out there. Disappointing first dates, mediocre sex, and guys who couldn't commit. But looking at Daniel's face, hopeful, almost pleading, I realized this mattered to him. A lot. "I need time to think about this," I said. "Of course. Take all the time you need. And if you decide you're not comfortable, we don't have to do it. But I really think this could be good for us." I went home that night confused and slightly hurt. We'd been fine. Why fix what wasn't broken? Over the next week, I did research. I read articles about consensual non-monogamy, joined online forums, read stories from people in open relationships, some successful, some disasters. The common thread in successful open relationships seemed to be clear communication, firm boundaries, emotional security, and both partners genuinely wanting it. I had reservations, big ones, but Daniel kept bringing it up gently, not pressuring, just present with the idea. "I found this article about ethical non-monogamy," he'd text. "Just think about it, no rush." Finally, 2 weeks after his initial proposal, I agreed to try it, with conditions. If I'm uncomfortable at any point, we close it immediately. No questions, no guilt. "Absolutely," Daniel agreed quickly. "Whatever you need." "We don't discuss details. I don't want to know who you're seeing or what you're doing, and I won't tell you either." That works for me, keeps things separate. And we check in monthly, see how we're both feeling. Perfect. He seemed so relieved, so happy. At the time, I thought it was because we'd reached a compromise, found a way forward together. Now I know better. I signed up for a dating app with reluctance, created a profile that was honest but not desperate, posted a few photos, hit complete. Within 24 hours, I had over 200 likes. By day 3, over 500. I was stunned. I'd been on dating apps during my single years, but never with this kind of response. Maybe it was my age. Women in their late 30s seemed to be more desirable than I'd expected. Maybe it was my profile, which was clear about looking for casual connections. Maybe it was just luck. I started matching with people, chatting. Some conversations fizzled immediately. Others were engaging, funny, interesting. My first date was with Marcus, a 39-year-old architect. We met for coffee. He was attractive, articulate, and refreshingly straightforward about being in a similar situation. Committed partner, open relationship, looking for connection without complications. "So, how's it going with your partner?" he asked. "Adjusting okay to being open?" "Honestly, I'm still figuring it out. This is all new to me." It gets easier. The key is not comparing. What he's doing doesn't affect what you're doing. Keep them separate. Good advice. The date was nice. We met again a week later, had dinner, went back to his place. The sex was good, not earth-shattering, but enjoyable. I felt guilty afterward. Not cheating guilty, because this was allowed, but still strange. I called Daniel that night, just to hear his voice. He sounded cheerful, asked about my day, carefully avoiding any specific questions, and told me he loved me. "I love you too," I said, meeting it. Over the next few months, I went on more dates. Some were one-time things, others developed into regular connections. I was seeing 3 different people semi-regularly by month 4, Marcus the architect, James, who was also in an open marriage, and Sophia, a woman I'd matched with who was exploring her sexuality. I wasn't falling in love with any of them. They were fun, engaging, physically satisfying, but they weren't Daniel, which, I realized, was the point. Daniel was my partner. These others were something else, separate, and I was enjoying it more than I'd expected. Every month, Daniel and I would have our check-in conversation over dinner. "How are you feeling about everything?" he'd ask. "Good, actually. This is working better than I thought it would." "Good, me too." That was it. We didn't share details, didn't probe, just confirmed we were both okay. But looking back, I can see the cracks. At our second check-in, Daniel seemed distracted, a little frustrated. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just work stress." At our third check-in, he was quieter than usual, less enthusiastic. "You sure you're good with all this?" I asked. "Absolutely. Why?" "You seem off." "I'm fine, Elena, really." I believed him, or maybe I wanted to believe him, because I was doing well and I didn't want to feel guilty about it. By our 5th check-in, he barely engaged with the conversation at all, just nodded, said things were fine, and changed the subject quickly. I should have pushed, should have asked harder questions, but I didn't. 6 days ago, I went to Daniel's apartment for dinner. We'd been maintaining our regular schedule, seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week, just like before. I was texting James while Daniel cooked, making plans for later that week. I set my phone on the kitchen counter and went to help with dinner. Can you grab the pasta from the pantry? Daniel asked. Sure. I walked to the pantry, grabbed the box, turned around, and saw Daniel holding my phone. What are you doing? The words came out sharper than I intended. He didn't look up, just kept scrolling. Daniel, that's my phone. Who's James? His voice was cold. That's not. We agreed we wouldn't. Who is James? He was shouting now. Someone I'm seeing, which you know I'm doing because that's the arrangement we agreed to. You're sleeping with him? Daniel, you opened this relationship. You know what that means. He was scrolling through my messages now, through my dating app. You're seeing multiple people? How many? That's none of your business. We agreed. Jesus Christ, Elena. 500 matches? Are you kidding me? Put down my phone. All these messages, all these dates. How long has this been going on? 6 months. The entire time we've had this arrangement. Now put down my phone before I... He threw it. Actually threw my phone across the kitchen. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. We both stared at it. What the hell is wrong with you? I was shaking now, anger replacing shock. You were supposed to... He stopped himself. I was supposed to what, Daniel? He didn't answer, just ran his hands through his hair, breathing hard. I picked up my phone, screen cracked but still working. I grabbed my purse. Elena, wait. No. You just went through my phone without permission, threw it across the room, after you're the one who wanted this arrangement. So no, I'm not waiting. I need to explain. Then explain. Right now. Daniel sank into a chair, put his head in his hands. There's someone at work, Mia. She's 28. She started about 7 months ago. My stomach dropped. When I proposed opening the relationship, it was because of her. I wanted to ask her out, see if there was something there. You opened our relationship to pursue someone else? I thought if I could just see what it might be like with her, I could get it out of my system. Or if it was real, if there was real potential, then I could end things with you cleanly. You were planning to leave me? I didn't know. I just wanted to explore it. So you asked to open our relationship, gave me this whole speech about expanding experiences and growing together, when really you just wanted permission to cheat? It's not cheating if it is when you're doing it to replace me. He flinched. What happened with Mia? I asked, my voice deadly calm now. I asked her to lunch. She said yes. I thought it was a date. She thought it was a work lunch. When I tried to make it romantic, she looked horrified, said she had a boyfriend, that she thought we were just colleagues. So she rejected you? Yeah. And then what? You tried to find someone else? I signed up for the same app you did. I've been on maybe 8 dates, 10. They've all been terrible. First dates that went nowhere. 2 second dates that fizzled out. No one wanted... He stopped. No one wanted a 37-year-old man in a relationship looking for something on the side, I finished. I thought it would be easy. I thought women would be interested. So when it didn't work out, you just stayed in the open relationship, hoping eventually you'd find someone to replace me with? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. And meanwhile, I continued, my voice getting harder, I was supposed to do what? Sit at home being faithful while you shopped around? Is that what you expected? I didn't think you'd actually. You said you were skeptical. You said you didn't want this. I was skeptical, but you kept pushing, kept saying how good it would be, how healthy and mature we were. So I tried it. And you know what? I liked it. I liked feeling desired. I liked meeting interesting people. I liked the freedom and honesty of it. You liked it more than you like me? His voice broke. That's not. Daniel, they're not you. They're not my partner. You are. Were. The word hung between us. Were? I repeated. If you won't close the relationship right now, immediately, then we're done. I can't handle knowing you're out there with other people when you can't find anyone willing to deal with you. His face reddened. That's not fair. Fair? You wanted to leave me for a 28-year-old who wasn't interested. You opened our relationship specifically to pursue her. You've spent 6 months looking for my replacement. And now that you're failing while I'm succeeding, suddenly the arrangement you created is unacceptable and you're talking to me about fair? We should close the relationship. Go back to how things were. No. Elena. No, Daniel, you don't get to change the rules because they're not working in your favor anymore. So what, you just want to keep sleeping with random people? I want to think. I want space. I want to process the fact that my boyfriend of 3 years has spent the last 6 months actively trying to replace me. I wasn't. Yes, you were. You admitted it. You said if it worked with Mia, you'd leave me. He had no response. I grabbed my purse and headed for the door. Elena, please, can we just talk about this? You just threw my phone across the room, Daniel. You violated my privacy, broke our agreement, and admitted you've been using me as a backup plan. There's nothing to talk about right now. Where are you going? Home, my home, and I need you not to contact me for a while. How long? I don't know. I left, walked the 15 blocks to my apartment in the cold night air, replaying every conversation we'd had over the past 6 months, seeing them all in a new light. Daniel didn't respect my request for space. He texted constantly. I'm sorry. Can we please talk? I made a mistake. I know that now. I love you. I don't want to lose you. The open relationship was a mistake. Let's just go back to normal. I didn't respond, not immediately. I needed time to think, to process, to figure out what I actually wanted. I talked to Marcus about it. He listened without judgment. The fact that he opened it specifically to pursue someone else, that's a betrayal, even within non-monogamy, Marcus said. That breaks the fundamental trust. I know. And the fact that he only wants to close it now because it's not working for him, that's controlling, manipulative even. I know that too. What do you want, Elena? Good question. What did I want? I thought about the past 6 months. Yes, I'd enjoyed the freedom and attention, but that wasn't really what this was about anymore. This was about Daniel treating me like a placeholder, like someone to keep around until he found something better. And then, when he couldn't find something better, expecting me to just accept being his consolation prize. I don't think I can go back, I admitted. Even if we closed the relationship, even if we tried to make it work, I'd always know he was looking for an exit, that I wasn't enough. You're more than enough, Marcus said firmly. He's an idiot who didn't realize what he had until he saw other people valuing you. That evening, I finally responded to Daniel's messages. We need to talk, in person, tomorrow, 2 p.m., the coffee shop on 5th. Daniel was already there when I arrived. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. Part of me felt sorry for him. Most of me didn't. Thank you for meeting me, he said as I sat down. I'm only here to get closure, Daniel, not to reconcile. His face fell. Elena, please. Let me talk first, then you can respond. He nodded. 3 years ago, you met a woman who'd been single for 8 years, who was scared to trust anyone, who'd built walls because every relationship before you had disappointed her. I took a breath, and slowly, carefully, you convinced me to let those walls down, to trust you, to believe we were building something real and lasting. We were. No, we weren't, because the moment someone younger and shinier came along, you started looking for the exit. You didn't have the courage to just break up with me, so you convinced me to open our relationship, thinking it would be a clean transition. You'd find someone better, I'd be distracted with my own dates, and eventually we'd just drift apart. That was your plan, wasn't it? He didn't deny it. But then it didn't work. Mia rejected you. Other women weren't interested. And you realized that maybe what you had with me was actually pretty good. So you wanted to close it all back up, pretend it never happened, and go back to comfortable. I made a mistake, Elena. I see that now. But people make mistakes. That doesn't mean we can't move past it. You're right. People make mistakes. But this wasn't a mistake. This was a calculated plan to replace me. And the only reason you want me back is because your plan failed. That's not true, isn't it? If Mia had said yes, if she'd been interested, would you be sitting here right now asking for another chance? Or would you have already moved your things out? Silence. That's what I thought. Elena, I love you. You love having me as an option. You love having someone who cares about you while you look for something better. That's not the same as loving me. So that's it? 3 years and you're just done? You were done 6 months ago, Daniel. I'm just finally catching up. I'm writing this 6 months after that coffee shop conversation. A year after Daniel first proposed opening our relationship. Daniel and I are no longer together, obviously. The first few weeks were hard. 3 years is a long time to spend with someone, even if the relationship was flawed. I missed the comfort of it, the routine, having someone to text about my day. But I didn't miss him, not really. I kept seeing Marcus for a few more months before we amicably decided we'd run our course. James moved to another city. Sophia and I are still friends, though we're no longer romantic. I'm still on the dating app, still going on dates, but I'm more selective now, more intentional. And funny enough, I've met someone. His name is David. He's 41, divorced, has 2 teenage kids. He's upfront and honest about what he wants, a genuine connection, what he doesn't want, games or manipulation, and where he is in life, finally ready for something real. We've been seeing each other for 3 months, exclusively, because that's what we both wanted. It's different from what I had with Daniel, more open, more vulnerable, more honest. David knows about the whole situation with Daniel. I told him early on, wanting to be transparent. That must have been hard, he said, finding out you were someone's backup plan. It was, but you know what? It taught me something important. What's that? That I'd rather be alone than be someone's second choice, and that the right person won't make me feel like I have to compete or prove my worth. Good lesson to learn. Expensive, but good. We're taking things slow. No talk of moving in together or long-term plans, just enjoying each other's company and seeing where it goes. And if it doesn't work out, I'll be okay, because I know now that I can be alone and be happy. I can date and enjoy it without losing myself. I can trust my instincts when something feels off. Daniel, from what I hear through mutual friends, is still single, still on dating apps, still looking for whatever it was he thought he wanted. I hope he finds it. I genuinely do. But I'm glad I'm not waiting around while he looks. Looking back, I can see how naive I was, how easily I accepted his explanation for wanting to open the relationship, how quickly I blamed myself for not being enough. But I also see how I grew, how I learned to value myself, how I discovered that being desired by others helped me remember that I'm worth desiring. The open relationship wasn't wrong. It just was opened for the wrong reasons, by someone with the wrong intentions. If Daniel had been honest from the start, I want to see other people because I'm curious and I think we're strong enough for this. Maybe it could have worked. Maybe we could have explored non-monogamy together as actual partners. But he wasn't honest. He was selfish. And that's the difference between ethical non-monogamy and just using someone. To anyone reading this who's being asked to open a relationship, ask yourself why. Really dig into the motivations. Because if your partner can't give you a completely honest answer, that's your answer. And to anyone who's discovered they were someone's backup plan, you deserve better. You deserve to be someone's first choice every time. I'm 38 now. Single again, technically, but dating someone who makes me feel valued. And I'm happier than I was at 37, in a comfortable relationship with someone who was comfortable keeping me around until he found someone better. Comfortable isn't always good. Sometimes you need to be uncomfortable to realize what you actually deserve.